And welcome back to the Morning Blend, where we are moving through Mequon and Thiensville. Today, we're going to share the 4 key things to successfully transition from your work self to your retired self. Chris Doughty is a principal of Gentian Financial Group. We're super excited to welcome him to the show. Hey, Chris.
Hi, thank you.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about your company because it's got a fascinating location. You're actually in a one-room schoolhouse, which I think is so unique. It's beautifully restored, I understand. What else is it about your company that's so unique? Look at it. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, we really enjoy the location that we're in. It's unique. If you've seen the 1930 schoolhouse on the corner of River Road and Highland Road, and you've seen some construction over the last year, that's us. That's us. So one of the things that I'd say others have told us makes us unique is mindsets and how we operate. And rather than tell you, let me actually give you an example. One thing we always start with in meetings is we go big. So going big means beginning in gratitude. So I'm going to ask viewers and yourself, everyone, to grab a pencil if they can, and take a chance to write down something you're grateful for over the last 90 days. Normally I give you, say,
Okay.
90 seconds or so to do it, but go ahead and write that down. It's just one thing. I'll give you 15 seconds. Everybody grab a pencil, write it down, and then I'll share
I'm
mine, and
doing
maybe
it
I'll
too.
ask you as well. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think it's a great question because I've heard that the gratitude is not just great for happiness and finding fulfillment in life, but it's necessary to having joy in your life. So anyway, what I wrote down because of the
Yeah.
shutdown, the thing I'm
Yes.
most grateful for is just more time with family.
Absolutely. You know what? You and I are in the same wavelength because mine was slowing down and getting to see what's important. You know, when we get so busy, sometimes the kind of all the fractures of the world take over and they really take away from what's essential to you. So for my gratitude, it's the same thing. It's spending time with family and getting to know them even better and deeper. So the key is in any scenario, you can bring something that you're grateful for out of it. And it actually changes your physiology in a world that may not be so stable as we've seen lately.
I think that's really cool. You also talk about 4 keys to this transition we talked about, and that's from your work self, right, to your retirement self.
Yeah, there are. So just let me give you a sample of my 4 keys. Something we do is we like to get to know somebody's 4 keys, and it may be 5 or 6 for someone, but for us it's 4. Mine is faith, family, health, and business family. What it allows me to do is to essentially give the ability to filter anything that comes in and make decisions that are based on what are essential and important. And as we're going to talk about in just a bit, there's a massive amount of change that hits people when they retire. So it's almost like a whole life. They spend their whole life planning for their job, but when it comes to retirement, it's usually just a day and they haven't spent much time at all preparing for it. So when it comes to these 4 keys, once we get to know somebody, we want to make sure that what they're doing and what they've saved supports what's important to them rather than not. And we'll talk about in another exercise here, something we can do for that. So I think some of the keys is, we have a different perspective. So some things we offer are money is a resource and money is not everything. And I think when you come to people like us, oftentimes people will say, oh, well, it's money and that's the most important thing. And I think, like you've just said, many other things make you happy, gratitude, family, other things as well. So that's what we really focus on the person and what's important to them, not dictating what they should be doing.
I like that you get to that you take the time to truly get to know your clients. And one of the things that I think you
Yeah.
should be really proud about is all of the places where you are listed as an expert in retirement. So everything from Barron's top 1,200 financial advisors to Financial Times 400 top financial advisors, Forbes best in state in terms of wealth advisors. And then you have also been awarded Business of the Year by the Mequon Thiensville Chamber of Commerce. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
What
Oftentimes
do
when
you
it
think
comes
it
to this,
is?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious what you think has led to your success.
Oh, thank you. That's pretty obvious. Actually, to me, it's the clients that we have in our team. So they've really committed to us. They're trusting of us. What they do, how they work with us has really been the key for it. What I often say is, I will humbly accept the awards on behalf of my clients. So they're the ones being awarded, not us, is the way that I see it. So I think that's a big part of it. It's who we serve, and they're very, very, very unique and very awarded. I guess I should say, very deserving of the awards.
That's so cool. There's so much fear, I feel like right now with the economy. How do you advise your clients right now when people are scared?
Yeah, it's a great question. So a lot of it is care, and I mean care in a very kind way, scenario planning, perspective, and I call it fierce but kind behavioral finance, behavioral coaching, if you will, because there's a lot going on. We understand there's a lot coming at people. You know, I think General George Casey came up with the term VUCA, volatile, uncertain, changing, and ambiguous. And you want to talk about, something that really exemplifies that, it's now. So we get it. Fear causes helplessness and anxiety. So what we really work on is to prepare people for the unknowns, because one thing you'll find is there's no future facts. I think that's a big part of what we look at. So without future facts, we have to be prepared for things that we just don't know about. We have to be prepared to how to act and what to do during those times. So, if you look at it really, go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to, I was hoping you could touch on the retirement rewiring, because we teased that earlier. I'm not sure I've heard that term before.
Yeah, so it's a great point. What we have found over time in our many years of talking with retirees, I've been doing education at different institutions over time for about 20 years or more. And doing that education, we actually found that money is what we thought it started with, but it actually came to all the changes that are hitting somebody. So if you look at this, when you retire, it changes potentially your identity, your location, your paycheck. Your family may change in some form. You may change where you live. Social circles definitely change. So we had a lot of clients actually saying the biggest issues aren't necessarily money, it's everything else that goes around it, because your whole life changes, and oftentimes people aren't prepared for that right away. And like I said before, you spend your whole life preparing for a job, but people tend to spend for the next 30 or 40 years, they'll spend in retirement. Maybe they spent 30 or 40 years in working. Why haven't they spent, maybe 12 or 15 years preparing for retirement? It's just because we haven't put that out there in society. What's the next step afterward?
I admire and appreciate that holistic approach that you take. I think it's rather unique, and I think your clients benefit from it. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to share some great information on how people can get to know you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I think that if there's anything, obviously we can help with any questions, we'd love to help out. That's our nature.
That's fantastic. Thanks again, Chris.
Thank you, Molly. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And Gentian Financial wants you to meet their great team. They offer a complimentary discovery and recommendations meeting. Their offices are located on North River Road in Mequon. You can reach them by calling this phone number. It's 262-518-7575. Or you can check them out online too at gentianfinancial.com.